Good morning, guys. Let us continue. I am sharing the screen. I hope you guys are able to see my screen.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you. So have you guys practiced the code of multi-threading?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Karthik.
Were you guys able to do on your own?
Yeah.
Okay. And does it make sense why are we writing each line of code? Or
Yes.
like, do we need to remember some code?
No.
Okay. What about others? You are able to write, right? May I know who all have practiced? I see Nagalakshmi, Ganesh, Arun. What else? Who else? Who all have written the code on your own? Yeah, I see Rajesh. Okay. So guys, whoever did not write the code, please, I request them to please write it so that you will understand better. Okay, let's quickly rewind what we have discussed. So yesterday we started doing the multi-threading program. So for that multi-threading program, we have taken an example of insurance application and sending or triggering the messages to multiple people. So instead of doing a single thread application, we have used new fixed thread pool. Okay. So in the new fixed thread pool, we have given the number of threads as 3, and we were able to visualize the threads are reused, and that means when I say after completion of a execution of run method, the thread is not dead and it is executing the method again, right? So, and in this one, in the executor framework, which method is creating an independent path of execution?
Execute method.
Execute method, right?
Yes.
Now, yeah. So the thing is, now yesterday there were some questions on how to generally whenever we create a thread using it by calling the thread class constructor, in order to set a name, we can call the thread class constructor, or we are calling set name method, right? Now in the executors, how can I set a name? Okay, in the executor we can set a name by in the new fixed thread pool. If I look at it, see, do you guys see there are two methods which is overloaded, correct? New fixed thread pool which is taking 1 parameter, new fixed thread pool which is 2 parameters. Am I right?
Yes.
So if I
Yes.
take the new second parameter, what is the second parameter? Let us go here. See, in the first one, internally it is calling, look at here, thread pool executor. There is what is a thread pool executor? Thread pool executor is a class. Now let me go back. Now new fixed thread pool. Let me call this one. So now let us go here. Now if you look at this method, so instead of calling the method which takes a int number of threads, there is one more overloaded method which takes a thread factory, correct? Are you guys able to see? Thread factory.
Yes.
So thread factory is an interface in Java. Look at here. And it has a method called new thread. By implementing this interface, we can set a name to a thread. Okay. I'll just give you the hint on how to do. I request you guys to try it. Okay. Now, if still you are not getting, I will explain. Look at here. So whenever I'm creating a executors.new fixed thread pool, earlier I have used only new like this. Correct? I'm giving a number of threads, 2 threads or 3 threads, etc. If you want to set a name to a thread in the pool, what you can do is you have to, so now what is this next method? The overloaded method which takes a new fixed thread pool, and the second parameter is a thread factory. Now, just now we have seen thread factory is an interface in Java. Now, can I create an object for this?
No.
Directly? No. So what I have to do, I have to create a class, implement this interface and override this method, correct?
Yes.
Now, So whenever I am overriding this new thread method, what I need to pass to that new thread method?
Runnable object.
Runnable object means what is the object
Thread.
in my scenario?
Thread.
So that is nothing but this class, right? Trigger email for policy, because this is implementing the runnable interface, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So now, or else, can I say that I can do the anonymous method, anonymous inner class? Yes. Now, if you look at here, I have used anonymous inner class. Anonymous inner class is you don't need to create a separate class, implement the interface, and override the run method. Here, look at here, new thread factory, and I have overridden the method. Now, internally, I'm creating a thread t equal to new thread, and I'm passing whatever the runnable instance is there that I'm passing here, and I'm setting a name. See, again, internally, it is calling the thread class set name method only, but we need to call the thread. So instead of implementing the new fixed thread pool, which takes one parameter, we have to call the method new fixed thread pool, which takes two parameters. Okay. So I request you guys to what you can do, since it is taking two parameters. First, you create a class and implement this thread factory interface, and you need to override this method. And this method is taking the runnable object. So runnable object means we need to pass our runnable object here. Whatever we have created, trigger email for policy, you pass the object and try. If I want you guys to please put pen on paper or Eclipse so that you will get some more doubts. I can clear it. So just try this. If you are not getting, I will explain. Anyhow, I will explain tomorrow, but I just want you to try for one day. Will it be fine, Ganesh? I think you are the one who asked the question.
Yes, sir, I will do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hope you understand what you
Yeah.
need to do. Okay.
Yes.
Now there was another question on what is happening. See here, we said someone asked a question on executor is reusing the thread, correct? Whenever we have written this multi-threading program, what we have done, whenever I say new fixed thread pool of 3, so the first thread after completion of the run method, it is taking the work from the queue, correct?
Yes.
Now, someone asked a question how it is happening internally. May I know the person who asked the question?
Myself.
Yeah, okay. Now so answer for that is, now I explained in the functional terms called, so in the general scenario, whenever we create a thread in the normal way, after completion of a run method, the thread is considered as dead. Now the answer that I have given yesterday is, so here after completion of a run method, the thread is not considered as a dead. Now again, you might be asking a question, sir, how can I know? So if I call the start method on a thread, it will call the run method. Now, after completion of a run method, if I call the start method again, what will happen?
Exception.
Illegal thread state exception,
That's
correct?
right.
Now let me debug this program and tell you whether the thread is becoming dead or not, correct? Now, if I show you that thread is alive, can I say the internal logic will make sense, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Now let me show you guys. So let me click F8. See, threads are. So here, can I say main method is completed? Yes. Now all these thread pools are executing. Okay. Now can I say, see, do you see the control anywhere? Koti Reddy? So if for example, if any of the thread is executing, if it is executing line number 17 or 18, you can see the thick green color, correct? But yes, can I say all the threads have completed their work? I don't see any control, correct? Now,
Yes.
do you see, though even all the, say for example, in my example, I have how many employees I have? 8 employees. All the threads have completed their work. But what is the status of the threads after completion of the code also? After completion of this for loop, what this for loop is doing? So since I mentioned that 3 threads, first, whenever we call execute method, threads will be created. Now, how the internal work will happen for here is, whenever you say execute, Okay, let me explain. Whenever we say execute, okay, now what is the task that we want to perform in this multithreading? What is the work that we are
Trigger
trying
email.
to do? Yeah, triggering email for customer, correct?
Yes.
Triggering email for customer. So this is, can I say this is a task?
Yes.
correct.
So this task I have to execute for n number of customers, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now, in order to do this task, how many threads I am using? 3.
3 threads.
Okay. Now here in the executive framework, there are two different things, task and the threads. Now, whenever we say for loop, so whenever we say internally the for loop, what will happen is, so whenever you say execute method, now execute method will create a thread, okay, and puts in a thread pool. Next time, whenever the execute thread method is come, it will create a thread, it will put it in a thread pool again. So once the 3 threads are created, like what is the fixed thread pool I have given? 3. That means at max, how many independent path of executions will be created by execute method? Only 3, correct? Because I
3.
have given 3. So that means my number of threads have been created. Now, what will happen? See, now, whenever you are what you are passing to the execute method, the runnable instance. The runnable instance is nothing but a customer object only, correct?
Yes.
And it will
Yes.
start executing. Now, all this, whenever you say all this customer execute method will create a threads, at the same time, whatever the task that you are giving, this task will be submitted to the queue, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So that means the thread is not, see, whenever you are triggering, whenever you are debugging from the execute method, it immediately the thread is getting started and it is started working. That is how we can see. But internally, what is happening? It is creating a thread and keeping it in a thread pool. And whatever the work that you are putting, where it is getting added, it is getting added to the queue. And then these threads are started taking the data work from the queue, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So when this, so now this is how internally it is working. Now, after completion of the task, each thread is becoming, after completion of a run method, it is becoming free and it is not getting dead. So what it will do, it will continue to take the data from the queue and then it will complete the task. Now, once the, see, for if my queue size is 10, all the threads has executed the work. Now, after completion of a 10, can I say my queue will become empty?
Yes.
Yes.
So when the queue will become empty, now let us look at here. If I continuously F8, see it is each thread is taking some work. So can I say I'm continuously, whenever I do F8, I can say that all the threads have taken the work from the queue and my queue is empty now.
Yes.
Okay, but still, what is the status that you can see of the
Running.
threads running? Can I
Running.
say now threads are different? Like now there is no direct linkage between a thread and the work. So what the thread execute method will do, it will create a thread and keep it in a pool. And that's at the same time, whatever the work you are giving, that work will be added to the queue, correct?
Yes.
So now these threads will take the work from the queue. After completion of the, once the queue is, now how many times the threads will continue to, so now how does the thread will know whether there is a work or not? Now, whenever the thread is starting executing this one, it is executing this, it will execute this, it will execute this. Now, once the T1 is becoming free, now what I'm telling T1, if once T1 becomes free, it will take the work from the queue. Before taking the work, it will check what is the queue dot size, correct? If the queue dot size equal to 0, that means there is no work, correct? So
Correct.
it will take the data from the queue, and once the queue is completed, it will remove that from the queue, correct? So that see, first initially 3 employees are there. So initial size is 10. After completion of calculation of each salary, so after 1 completed means the capacity of the queue will become 9. Next 8. Next 7. So likewise, whenever the queue size becomes 0, then this thread will understand that all the tasks are completed, correct? Now, this is how internally it happens. Now, once the tasks are completed, but still the thread status is not dead. So what will happen? Look at here. So still the threads are running. So that means after completion of a run method, can I say that my thread is not dead by looking at
Yes.
the status here? Okay.
Yes.
Now your question might be, sir, the threads are not getting dead. But in the normal thread way of creation of Java, after completion of a run method, what is my thread status?
Dead.
Shall we debug the program?
Yes.
Now let's see my thread complete thread example. So see here t dot start t1 dot start. See, it is executing run method. See, look at here. After completion of a run method, see, I'm completing the run method. See, can you see that the thread is gone from here?
Yes.
Now let's look at here. If it is not, if it is not running, then it has gone. Now my main method also will be gone, correct? You can see the terminated status. But whereas, if I look at my trigger multi-threading, am I able to see the terminated status?
No.
No. That means the threads are live even after completion of the for loop, correct?
Yes.
Now, so that is how I can say that, see, if the thread is dead and you are calling the start method again, it will create an illegal thread state exception. But after completion of a run method also, the thread is not considered as dead. How can we say that? Whenever I debug the program, after completion of this one also, the threads are still alive. Now the question is, but before completion of the program, can I say that I have to kill my threads? Or else if the threads are live, that is also a problem, right? Active threads.
Yes.
No, I have to kill it. So how can I kill it? Ex dot shutdown. So there is a method called shutdown. Now let us execute the program and see. So let me continue. Okay. Now if I can, okay, now I'm okay. Now look at here, triggering a email. I'm completing the work. See, one thread was only taking all the work. Okay. Now can I say after this, let me come to the main method. Sorry, I have completed a main method. So let the threads are, I think I have kept somewhere the sleep or something. So yeah, so that's the reason it is taking time. So let me remove the sleep. Or else let me keep thread.sleep 10 seconds only so that it will be coming immediately. Debug as Java application. Yeah. Now look at here. My main method, where is my main method? In line number 43. That means it is not yet executed. Now I am completing all the threads quickly. See, main method, I have called somehow I have called the shutdown method. Now let us look at if I do F8 continuously. See, do you see terminated now?
Yes.
So that means by calling the shutdown method, you are explicitly terminating the thread pool and the threads. If you're not calling this one, your threads will be alive. Now let me show you the code by commenting this line and removing the sleep method. Okay. Now, are you able to see the difference? Put ready?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. See, all the tasks are submitted to the queue. Now someone might be asking what kind of a queue it is using. See, look at here. I do not have a shutdown method now. All the threads are executing the work. Okay. Now let me complete this. Okay. Look at here. My threads are running only, correct? See, main destroy Java, pool 1, pool 1, thread 2, thread 3. So all are running only. But because I have not called the shutdown method. Now, if I call the shutdown method, then only these threads will die. So what is the use of a shutdown method in the executive framework? In order to kill the thread, you need to call the shutdown method. Now, so whenever we call the execute method, it will create a thread and keeps in a run pool. And all the data, all the tasks that you are submitting will be added to the queue. So thread will take the work from the queue. After completion of a run method, it is not dead, so it is getting reused. And whenever we call the shutdown method only, the thread will be killed. Okay. Now the question comes, now what kind of a pool so in the queue? There are many queues, correct? In Java? Yes or no?
Yes.
Priority queue,
Linked blocking queue,
blocking queue, queue, DQ. So say if I say these are the 4 varieties. Okay. Remaining or like say blocking queue is one interface, queue is interface, DQ is an interface. There are so many implementation classes done. But see now what kind of a queue that executive framework is using. Now let's come inside this. We can see the data. Yeah, Komal, F8 means I mean like from one debugger point to the another debug point. So whenever I do right click debug as Java application, that means we are debugging. So for example, now this is a 34 line number is a breakpoint and next breakpoint is 38. Now I don't want to debug. Now let me keep a breakpoint in line number 43. Now if I do F6, then line by line, F6 is called as a line by line execution. So that means it will debug the line like for loop also. Whatever the size of the customer list, that many times this for loop will be repeated and I can see that. But since I know this one logic, I don't want to debug. Directly from this line, I want to go to the line number 43. Then what I will do, I will click on F8 so that this process will happen, but I will not see. Directly I will go from here to here. So that is nothing but F8. Okay. Now let us click on this new fixed thread pool. You guys see internally it is using linked blocking queue. See in the thread pool, see whenever you say new fixed thread pool, what is it is calling? It is calling some another class constructor. In the constructor, what it is passing? New linked blocking queue, correct? Now let's go into this constructor. Now, so see there is so that linked blocking queue is called as a blocking queue, and it is the work name of the blocking queue is a work queue. Now, if you look at where and all this work queue is used, okay, you can see the different now. See, this is a work queue. First final variable they have declared. Look at here, they are checking is empty. If not, train the queue. See, is empty. See, see, get task. So this get task method will be called by a thread. Now, if you look at here, whenever the see after taking the get work queue dot poll and keep alive time. So by calling the poll method, what happens? It will take the thread will take the work from the queue, and then what does the poll method will do in the queue? It will return an object and it will delete an object. Correct? Do you guys know what is a poll method? The poll method, the return, I will explain, don't worry. So the work of a poll method is return an object and delete an object. And then it is calling the take method. So this take method will provide the blocking operation. Now, what I wanted to say that is internally in the executive framework, the linked blocking queue is used. Using the linked blocking queue, the thread is alive. At the same time, after completion of the work, it is deleted. Now, let me tell you what is a blocking queue, how it will work. That is what I have mentioned in the course content, the blocking queue producer and consumer problem. I will explain that now. Once I explain that, if I come back here, it will make sense. Now, before going there, so let me, in the same example, now yesterday we have looked at new fixed thread pool. Now I have asked someone to look at the cached thread pool. So what is the different case? Whoever has practiced?
so the main difference is like if I put a debug here by using the new cache thread pool, it will create the number of threads. How many is there? That many threads is creating, sir.
Okay, so that means So whenever you are keeping a debugger, what does it mean? You have not completed the work and the threads are busy. So whenever the thread is busy, it will create a new thread. For example, if one thread is completed the run method and it will wait, then it will reuse the thread, correct?
Yes.
So did any others tried that?
Yes, Karthik. It is around with fix 4 threads I could run. 4 threads only created. When I created around 12 customers, when I run cache one, it created around 12 threads.
Yeah. So 12 threads means because whenever you are debugging, what you have done, you have not completed not even a single thread, correct? So all the threads.
Without debugging, I just ran it.
Yeah, look at here. So for example, whenever you're debugging, what you can do, one person, you make it as a okay, let me quickly show you guys what is a cached thread pool. This is important. Okay. See, look at here. Currently, in the new cached thread pool, how many threads are executing? 6 threads, correct? Now see how many employees are there? 6. Now why 6 threads have been created? First it has created. Now let me debug again. Now look at F8. Now I'm debugging, guys. See, first time I'm calling the execute method. See, pool 1 thread 1 has created. Now can I say thread 1 is busy executing Karthik employee? Is it busy?
Yes.
Yeah. Now second time whenever you say execute, it will check. Currently, how many threads are there? 1 thread. But is the thread busy? Yes. Then what it will do? It will create one more thread. Look at here. It has created one more thread. Now, what is the thread is executing? Harish. Done. Now, how many total threads are there? 2. But 2 threads are executing 2 tasks from the queue, correct? Now, again, whenever you call the third task, whenever you submit the third task, so if the threads are free, it will take. If the threads are not free, it will create a new thread. Look at here. It has created. Now, similarly, my 3 threads are busy. So whenever I say execute, it will create 4 threads. Okay, done. Now, shall I complete now? Can I say that creation of a thread, if the threads are busy executing the other work and the new work is submitted, then it will create a new thread. Am I right?
Yes.
So that means in the new cached thread pool, you don't need to specify how many number of threads has to create. JVM or operating system will take the decision on number of threads to be created. Now, how it will take the decision? Now, currently, all the 4 threads are executing. If I submit a new work, since all the threads are busy, so it will create a new thread. Now, for example, you might be asking, sir, let me complete this thread. If I complete this thread, now if I say F8, okay, if I say F8 here, my thread 1 is in the pool 1, thread 1 is free, correct? Thread 2 is also free now. Now let me execute F8. See, thread 3. See. Now my thread 3 also free. My thread 4 is also free. Now can I say my all 4 threads are free now?
Yes.
Now, now if it is a free, it will reuse the thread from the pool. If it is not free, it will create it. Now let us, now if I do F6 here, if I submit the task, does it has to create a new thread?
No.
Look
it will reuse that.
See, look at here. See, is it creating a new thread? No, it is reusing the 4. Now again, if I submit the work again, out of 4, how many are free now?
3.
Now let us look at here. See, it is using the third one. Now if I submit again, how many are free? 2. Out of 2, 1 will be reused. Done. If I submit again, which one? How many are free? I think
1.
Yeah, 1. Okay, look at here. Can I say total number of threads, sir? 1, 2, 3, 4. Done. Now can I say now my 4? Now what is the work still? What is the I value? 7. Now customer.size is 9. Okay, that means one more task is pending, correct? Now, can I say at this point of time, can I say my 4 threads are busy?
Yes.
Now, if I submit it, will it create a new thread or will it use the reuse the existing one?
New thread.
New
If
thread will
something is
create.
available, it will use that one.
But currently in this example, anything is available?
No.
No. Whenever I'm debugging, how can I make sure that it is available? So go to the thread and complete this one, correct? Click F8. Like complete the work of till the line number 19. Once you complete the line number 19, I can say that my thread is a free, correct? But here all the threads are executing. If you click here, one more thread has created, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Karthik. I think we lost you. Can anybody hear Karthik? He disconnected.
No, Shankar, I think sir was
I think
lost.
Karthik will facing network issue, disconnected.
Ah.
Sorry, guys. So Ganesh, can you make me the host? Currently, you are the host. Yeah.
Yeah, done, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry, guys, I lost the power, so I've disconnected from the meeting. No, okay. So what I am trying to say is, in the cached thread pool, say if I say fixed thread pool, it doesn't matter whether the thread is busy or free, only that number of threads will be created. But in the cached thread pool, I can say that if the thread is free, it can be reused. If the thread is not free, all the threads are executing some other task, then new thread will be created in order to accommodate it. So whenever you are using a new cached thread pool, creation of threads is number of threads is not in your hands, correct? So that is a difference between a fixed thread pool and the cached thread pool. Okay. Now, so there is another thread pool, right? We have new single thread pool, correct? New single thread executor. So whenever I say new single thread executor, it is same as so this new single thread executor, as the name itself is telling, it is same as new fixed thread pool by providing the thread pool size as 1. So this is same as this one. Now let us debug the same code with a single thread executor and see how many threads will be created. Debug as Java application. Are you guys able to see my screen?
Yes, Karthik.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now let us click quickly debug. So execute. How many threads created? 1. See, second time, if I do, what is happening? Is it creating a new thread? No. And where this, whatever the customer object you are passing, where this is going, it is going to the queue, correct? Now what this, say, let us, so that means single thread executor is nothing but a new fixed thread pool by passing the thread
Once.
as 1, right? Now,
Yes.
say for example, currently it is executing Karthik, right? Now if I do F8, now let me remove from here. If I do F8, can I say that Karthik is completed? It will take Harish, correct? Now next, if I do again, if I do F8 again, some other employee will come, correct? Look at here, Ashok. Now if I do F8 again, it is taking Shankar, correct? So new single thread executor is nothing but it is as simple as saying that single thread execution, okay? So now we have seen the difference between a fixed thread pool, cached thread pool, single thread pool, okay? So in order to explain the schedule thread pool, so as I mentioned, we also have new schedule thread pool, correct? Do you guys remember I told? New
Yes, sir.
scheduled thread pool. So I will tell you this one. So this scheduled thread pool, you can schedule some time or something. This works like a fixed thread pool only. I will tell example in the tomorrow class because we are on almost on 6:40. Whatever in the next 15 minutes will not be enough for this explanation. So I will explain this new scheduled thread pool in the upcoming class. Okay.
Okay.
Now let us use the new fixed thread pool only and see something again. So when I say new fixed thread pool, you guys know that 2 threads are created. Now in the run method, yesterday I have triggered the message. Now I want to see, this is a message. I want to store this to the employee object, customer object. Can I say that c.set message and I will say s, correct? Done. Now in this way, now s.toString. Since it's a string buffer, I need to change it to toString. Okay, done. Now can I say I'm now my customer object, I will get whatever the customer list. In that every customer will have a message after completion of the work, done. So, but my requirement is whenever the thread is executing, so whenever you create a thread, whether it's a standalone thread creation by calling the start method or using a executor framework, can I say that it will internally call run method?
Yes.
So whenever the run method is done, after completion of a run method, can you return something from the run method?
No.
I repeat, guys, everyone, look at the drawback of a run method. Can I return anything from a run method?
No, you can't.
No. No. So can I say for example, if my requirement says that, say thread will execute something, once the thread is executed, I want the return. So for example, first of all, I cannot predict when the thread will execute. Okay. Now, if I start the multi-threading now, I can say that maybe after 10 minutes, one thread will start executing. Maybe after, see, that means now currently, let me tell you the time. The current time is 6:44. Okay. I'm assuming that 6:44, I'm starting the process. Start multi-threading process. Okay. Now, can I say immediately 6:45 the thread will be created? Can I say that? Can I say when I start my now currently whatever the program I am debugging, multi-threading, I will start debugging, like right click, run as, now I don't debug, I will run as Java application. Now it will start executing. But can I say that immediately on 645 or 646, will it create a thread? Can I say that?
No, no.
Can I say
Yes.
that it depends on
Yes.
operating system?
Yes.
Because if my operating system is busy, it will not take, correct? Assume that it may take 650 and it has started the thread, correct? I am assuming that operating system was busy till 650 and it has started executing the thread now. Now, can I calculate in order to complete my triggering a email? So assume that it may take 10 minutes. So that means it might complete by 7 a.m. Am I right? One thread will start completing the triggering a email for a customer by 7 a.m. Okay. Now, can I say after completion of the thread, I want the return type, correct? See, what is a requirement here? In the current example, what I'm doing, whatever the message is there, I'm setting into the object. Now, what I'm asking you guys is, I don't want to set into the object. I want you guys to return the response. And then that response, I want to store it in the database or send it to a third party or create a file, etc. In that scenario, whenever the thread is getting completed at 7 a.m., that means, can I say, currently I'm in 644, but I am expecting that my thread will complete the work by 7 a.m. and I want to return the day value, correct? Is this scenario understood? Shall I repeat?
Yes, sir,
Yes.
understand.
Yes, correct.
Now, so if I have to repeat, so now what I'm doing, see, this is the multi-threading program. What I'm doing is, so whenever I run the program, here it is running immediately. But in my laptop, there is some other process I'm doing. Okay. My operating system is busy. Whenever I run the program, my Java program will start executing. Okay. But it will, whether the thread will be created or not, it depends on operating system. Even if the thread is created, it may take some time to execute the trigger email functionality. Yes. I'm assuming that for time being, it is taking 10 minutes. Now, after 10 minutes, the thread will complete the work. So after completion of the work, that means it will complete the run method and it will do some calculation or something. So I want to return something from the run method. Currently, by using runnable interface, is it possible?
No.
No, that is not
No.
possible. So can I say that is one drawback of run method?
Yes.
Okay. That means that is a drawback of a runnable interface. That is one thing. And the next thing is, so currently I'm at 647. Okay. But I'm expecting that my thread will complete the work maybe in 7 a.m. It may be 7 a.m. or 7:10 a.m., 7:15 a.m. or 6:49 a.m. also, whatever it is. Correct. So my thread will complete the work in future. Correct. I do not know the time, but it will complete maybe after 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes. Whenever it completes the work, I want that return type, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
So that means here, whenever you're working with a thread, can you guess when the return type will come?
No.
No.
So that means, can it blindly say that the return, whenever we are working with a thread, if at all, I will see runnable interface, first of all, will not return anything. But I will modify, there is a solution for that. I will do that solution. Once I implement the solution, so the return object will come in future time, correct? Can I say that instead of telling the time, can I say that it will come in future?
Yes.
Yes.
So that means whenever you are working with a multi-thread, so the object, currently using a runnable interface, you do not have a provision to return the data type. So this is what is a drawback of runnable interface. So the drawback of a runnable interface is whenever we are executing the run method, from the run method, we cannot return anything. Okay. But for example, if you want to return something, whenever you're doing a multi-threading, then you need to go for a callable. Hope you understand. Earlier, I told there are 3 ways to create a thread object, correct?
Yes.
Extending thread class, implementing runnable interface, and implementing callable interface.
Callable interface.
So what is the drawback of a runnable interface? Run method cannot return anything. The return type of a run method is void. in order to overcome this, if my requirement is to return something from the thread, I cannot use the run method. That's the reason I will. So there is one more interface created in Java called as callable. What is the abstract method in the callable interface? Let's look at. What is the callable interface is taking? It is taking a generics, correct? Can I say this V is nothing but a generics? It can be an integer, it can be an
Yes.
employee, it can be string object, anything, any object that you pass. And what is abstract method? Call method. So, and what is the call method return type? V. That means whatever you are passing, that object can be returned as a response of a call method.
Yes.
Okay. Now can I say that instead of implementing a callable interface, can I, instead of implementing a runnable interface, can I implement the callable interface?
Yes.
Now, what I want to return, I want to return some object. Now,
Cust.
now instead of cust, see, can I also keep the parent class?
Yes.
See, today I'm saying customer. Tomorrow I want to change it to string, and day after tomorrow I want to change it to employee. So instead of keeping generic object, can I say that object, so that any child object, all the classes in Java are child classes of object class, correct? Now,
Yes.
now what is the method I need to override? Call method, add an
Call.
implemented method. Okay. Now call method I have overridden. Now what I need to do, whatever I'm doing in the run method, same trigger, call the method in the call. Yes. I'll put the code here. Okay, done. Apart from that, what you need to do? Return C. Correct. Now, in future, why am I, now the question comes, sir, here, what is a C I want to return? Customer object I want to return, correct? Now, directly I can keep a customer object, that is also fine. But why did I keep the object? The reason is, today, for example, time being, you want to return C. Now, tomorrow you want to return string. Now, if I keep customer here, can I return string? Again, I need to modify the code. Customer, and look at here. Customer, okay? This will work. But later, I want to return a string like this. Will it work? No, it is because the return type is a customer and you're returning string. Will it work? No. But if I keep object, it will work for everything, correct?
Yes, Karthik.
Yeah. So I can return C or I can return hi, correct? Anything, correct? Now.
Yes.
Now, the drawback of a runnable interface is the run method cannot return anything. Now, can I say by implementing a callable interface, I have overcome the drawback? Now I am able to return something from the call method. Now, see, now here you are getting a error message in the line number 39. Can someone tell me why am I getting?
So we have to submit, we have to use another method.
Yeah.
Call
So
methods.
now here, why am I getting, first of all, the error message? In initially Java 1.5 version, execute method was there. What does the execute method is taking? Runnable interface, correct? But
Yes.
so is my class is implementing a runnable interface? No,
No.
it is implementing callable interface. So obviously the T is not matching, correct? Now,
Yes.
so that's where in the executor service, there is one more method is introduced called submit. Okay. So instead of using a execute method, we need to use submit method. Now, if you look at here, the submit method is overloaded method. Look at here, submit method will take a callable reference, method will take a runnable reference also, correct? But, so now the question comes in the interview, in the executor service, there is a method called execute, there is a method called submit. What is the difference between execute method and submit method? Execute method will take only runnable reference. Submit method can take callable as well as a runnable, both. Agree?
Yes. Yes, Karthik.
Yeah. Now, so can I say submit followed by T? Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Now, so now what I am doing here, I have modified the call from the runnable. I have gone to the callable. Now the thing is, now, okay, let me execute the code. Now, which method? Now, earlier execute method is responsible to create an independent path. Now, can I say now submit method also will do the same work, but the difference is it will take the callable object or it will take the runnable object also. So using the submit method would be easy, because even in future, if you change, so the advantage of using a submit method is you can keep runnable, you can keep callable. Do you need to modify the client code? Not required. Correct? Now, see, whenever I say, now currently I'm executing submit. Now, can I say one thread is executing? Correct? See, trigger email message is executed. Now let me keep the debugger in the call method. See, look at here. So can I say so whenever I'm using a submit method, if I pass the runnable interface, submit method will create an independent path of execution. If it's a runnable interface, then it will start the execution from a run method. If it's a callable interface, it will start the execution from a call method. Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay. Now,
Yes,
once
sir.
this is, once this is done, now currently, can I say my pool 1, thread 1 is executing, thread 2 is executing. Okay. Now, but here I am, so whenever I say submit method is returning something, correct? Now, how can I accept, so for example, if I'm calling in Java, let me call one display. So this is let me trigger email is a message. Let me call this method as a display. Now, the display method is returning object, return null. Okay. Now, whenever I'm calling this method, what it is returning? It is returning a object, or let us take, it is returning string. Okay. Now, can you guys tell me how to call this method? Can I say like this? There's a method calling, and what it is returning, I want to store. What this method is returning? String, correct? Can I say like this? String s equal to display. So whenever this method is executing, whatever the return type, that is getting stored in a variable called s. Am I right?
Yes.
Yes,
So
Karthik.
this is plain Java, correct? Can you say immediately whenever you say display, from here the code control will go to this one, correct?
Yes.
So, but here this is a same path of execution. Am I right?
Yes.
Now, what is the difference between normal method execution and a thread execution? Now, whenever you execute a method, what happens? Now, let me keep this one before the thread. So look at here. So I'm calling the display method. Currently, my main method is in line number 34. From 34, can I say it will go to the line number 56 or 57? And it will execute
Yes.
display.
Yes.
Now, is it a different path of execution or same path of execution?
Same
Same
path of
path of
execution.
Whenever it is a same path of execution, so Java knows that it is coming here, and whatever it is returning here, that is storing in the variable called s, correct?
Yes.
Now, but whenever you're creating a thread, from where the thread is getting created? From main method, correct? See, from the
Right.
main thread, the child threads are getting created, correct? See here, currently my my control is in the main thread. From main thread, when I call the submit method, it is creating a child thread. Am I right?
Correct.
Okay. Now, where is your flow? It's an independent path. And where is your, where are you taking the return type? See, this submit method is, look at here. Submit method is, whenever you call submit, so you have used the call method. Why do you use the call method? You want to return something. Okay. Now, can I say this is different than the calling the display method?
Yes.
Now, the difference is, if it is a display, it is not a different flow of execution. It's the same flow. But in case of threads, whenever you're using a callable interface or something, so the return type, the callable, the thread will do the return, but it is not the same flow of execution. It's a different flow. So can someone guess when this thread will be completed?
So
If
whenever
I say
its
that,
execution is over, return type will be returned.
but can you tell me when? Is it in your hands? Can you
No.
say, I will tell after 1 hour, after 10 minutes?
No.
Can I
we
guess
can't,
it? No. That means here, when your output will be available here, for example, you are writing what you are returning here, object. Okay. Now you might be thinking here the return type I want to keep like this. Correct? Now, will this be correct? No, this is not
no.
right. So the
Right.
reason why am I getting a object B equal to, I'm getting a compilation error. So if you debug it, you will get an error. Let's debug this code. Now let me
Because
stop it.
in the main thread, it will keep submitting and it will moving further. It will not
Yeah.
waiting for the return value.
Yeah. Okay. Now let's look at here. See here, whenever I say submit, whenever I do F8, see it has, okay. See the thread is executing. Okay. Now, continuously. Now, what is the value of B? Now, if I come here, so how can you know what is the value of B? Correct? Do you guys understand what I'm trying to say? So whenever I keep the data like this, so but still the thread is executing. How can you expect a return type? Correct? So, and the thread will execute. We do not know when the thread will complete. So now I want something in the threads whenever the thread complete. So I can say that whenever I create a thread, the thread will complete its execution maybe after 10 minutes, after 15 minutes, after 1 hour, after 1 day, after 2 days. Now, whenever it has, that means I can say that thread execution will complete in future time. Correct? Thread execution will complete in future time. When I say future, it's a future tense. Like in English, we have a present, past, future. Correct? So can I say, is this the right statement? Thread execution will be completed in future time.
Correct.
So once it is completed, then you can take the return type. Correct?
Correct.
So in order to provide this flexibility in Java, there is one interface created that is called feature. So what is the use of a feature? So in order to accept some data or some object that is coming in future, so Java has introduced a interface called as feature. Now, in order to accept this data, what do you do is you will create a future interface. Now, let us look at here. Now, here for every thread, it will accept. It will give the return type. Correct? Now, what I have to do, I will create a list. Now, in the list, each and every submit method will return some object. In order to capture that object, I need a future. So what is a future? Like in order to accept it, there is a future interface in Java. So this future interface, what is a generic type? What you are returning object. So O. So that means, for example, how many threads are there? 2. These 2 threads are executing 8 tasks. Each task will return one object. Am I right?
Right.
So how many future objects are written now? 8, correct? 8. Now, but if I come, so that means 8 objects are there. Now I need to group that 8 objects together to use outside of a for loop. How can I do? Can I say list of future? I will create an array list. Or let us do list L equal to new array list. Okay, I'll remove the generics. Okay, done. Can I say that L dot add?
Yes, in that add of object.
OBJ. Okay. Now in this way, can I say that after completion of the for loop, what does the L is containing? Can I say it is containing all the future objects? Correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now this is how whenever you are using a multi-threading and whenever you are using a callable interface, instead of implementing a runnable interface. So whenever you are using a runnable interface, you don't need to use a future, because when the future will come into the picture, whenever your multi-threading program is returning some object. But whenever you are implementing a runnable interface, do you return anything?
Oh.
No, there is no point of future comes into picture, right? Now, when the Java creators has implemented the callable interface, the advantage of callable interface is your call method will return something. Now, in order to capture this object that comes in a future time, the future interface has introduced in Java. It is also introduced in Java 1.5. What is a future interface? Future interface is a placeholder to capture the object or to cache the object that is coming in future time whenever you're doing a multi-threading programming. Okay, now, so it's an interface. Look at here. In the interface where there are so many methods, we'll come to these methods later. But what is the future interface? This is the advantage. I mean, like, this is the explanation. You guys understood?
Yes, Karthik.
Yes,
Basically, it is a placeholder to keep all the written values, and later you can use it.
Yeah. So it is a placeholder. So to cache the object or to capture the object that is coming in a future time. Why we are not using a normal way? Because if normal program execution is the same path of execution, correct? They calling the display method. That means from this line number, it is going to that line number. But whenever I say thread, from main thread, another thread is getting created. So with each thread does not know what is happening in their side, right? So so thread is something which can be executed in future time. And in order to accept that response object, we go for a future interface. I think Rajesh, Rajesh, you said in your project, you have seen the future somewhere. So does this make sense now? Why they are using future?
Yeah.
Okay. So you might also be using array in order to capture all the future objects. You might be using some collection object. It can be array list, or it can be a hash map, or set anything. Correct?
But it is used for the caching. I feel like most of the times, whatever they are using this future, they are trying to utilize the cache object, and they are trying to keep that object into the cache.
Yes. So that's a different use case in your project. But whenever you say future, I mean, like, for example, after completion of this, all the threads, I want to see if I don't keep an array list, what happens? If I write a future interface, the scope of this one is only for here, correct? This object will be overridden every time. But you want to see the return types of all the tasks, correct? Then I can say that I have to use some collection object. It can be a hash map, array list, anything.
So see, before completing the threads, actually, if we refer this object,
So there are some blocked operations. No, not. So now see, you want to get a data from this future interface, right? Now, how can you get it? So there is a get method. Look at here. It will give you the interrupted exception, right? So there are some ways to get the data without an exception. I will tell you. Okay.
So if you try to get immediately without any,
you will get an exception. Yeah, you will get an exception. Yeah. So do you see one method called is done? Yeah. Is cancelled, cancel. So by using, I will explain how to get the data and all later. But the first question is, why am I using? Why I can't use normal way like this? Why I have to go for a future? So this is the explanation.
In callable object, whatever object we can pass it, the same thing we can refer it here, right? Like if you pass the customer, we can use
customer object. Yes.
Okay. So that typecasting will be taken
easy. So why did I take the object? Because whenever you say object, you can pass customer, you can pass object, anything.
Type safety will not be there when we use object, otherwise it will be there.
Yes. Any questions, anyone?
The cache thread will actually, if the current thread is busy, then it is creating the new thread, right? Is there any limitation for that?
No, there is no limitation. That is a problem. We don't, in the real project, you never see the cached thread pool, because the main problem whenever you are using a multi-threading is good as long as number of threads to be created is in your control, correct?
Yes.
So now you see, for example, you have you have a core i5 processor, and you cannot tell that I will create 100 threads, correct?
Yes.
So that means even based on your processor, you need to create a number of threads. Do you agree?
Yes.
So which are the thread pools are providing that flexibility? New fixed thread pool, new scheduled thread pool. These are the two which are asking the user to provide the number of threads. Then now I will tell you in, so there is the note that I have given. In that notes, if you look at, there is a formula to calculate how many number of threads can be created based on your operating system. Like how many number of cores you have. Based on that, there is a formula to create number of threads. So in the real-time application, based on the formula, you can create the number of threads and give that number of threads here. But in the cached thread pool, is it in your supervision?
No, it's not.
No. So that is the not like there is a concept, but that is not the good way to use it because the number of threads creation is not in your control.
Yeah, I had the same doubt actually. If let's say I created some random 1,000 customers and I fired this cached thread pool, and will it error out or it will?
Yeah, sometimes it will go into the blocking mode, right? So if you are debugging, if you are making all the based on your operating system, you can the number of threads to be created will be some limit, correct? For operating system also.
Correct.
So maybe it might have created based on your core, RAM, and then processors, it might create 100 threads. Okay. Whenever you go for 101 thread, it will the threads also will not be created. It will go into a blocking mode saying that it has to wait for other threads to complete the work, correct?
Okay, but it will not error out basically. Okay.
No,
it will use the maximum capacity and it will keep keep waiting for the other threads to get created.
Yeah, but the thing is, whenever you do that, do you have a control of your program? What is happening inside?
No, but my CPU might take up all the resources and I'll be problem.
Yeah, then sometime they may be getting out of memory or something, right?
Yeah, maybe some other problem.
So for example, when multiple threads are there, all the things are using your CPU. When one thread started executing, there is no heap space. Then it might throw you the out of memory error. Whenever the out of memory error is there, so your entire program will shut down, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So that's the problem with a new cached thread pool. So better to go for a fixed thread pool and the scheduled thread pool. Okay. I will take an example of scheduled thread pool in upcoming class. Okay. Any questions on the future interface or something? Have anyone seen future in your project code?
So if future, no, sorry, I didn't see.
Okay. Any others? Any questions, anyone?
So future thread after to make use of this return values, so we should be, cautious to. We should use the other methods to make sure that future object got the values from the column, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So that means you have to when the future.get method will give you the data, but that will give you the data only when the thread execution is completed. So you have to make sure that it is similar to the optional. In the optional class, optional.get will give you some exception, right? So in Java 8, we have a optional class, right? The optional.get method will give you the exception like sometimes. So what you need to do, you have to call some other methods also, right? If present or is present, then you call the get method. The same way, future also you should be cautious. I will explain that how to get the data, how to get the return type, etc. in upcoming classes.
Okay.
Okay. So any other questions, guys? Does it understood some or not? Yeah, sorry, go ahead. Yeah. So if no question, that's all for today.
So it is our wish to how we store it in future, right? Like linked list, whatever it is, we can use it, right?
See here, why are you going for? You can also simply it is returning future. Now, for example, if I am not storing somewhere, first record it will return some customer object that has a custom message as hi. Second record it is returning hello. Can I say that first object will be overridden by the second object?
Correct.
So you don't have the track. In order to have the track, you have to go for a collection framework. See, what is a collection framework? Collection framework is telling you to group the objects together. It doesn't matter whether it's a future object, string object, employee object. Correct?
Yeah, I can use any collection object like array also. I can
linked list, hash map, set, anything.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So that's all for today, guys. I hope so. The upcoming classes also will be interesting. Please join on time. And if you have any questions, please ask me. And I have to tell that internally, as I mentioned today, Internally, it is using a blocking queue. Now, some of you who are part of my data structures, they know blocking queue, correct? Like Ganesh, Shankar, or Satish, you are aware what is a blocking queue, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yeah. So others might not know. You can refer to any of the document, or I will also explain that what is a blocking queue, how it is different. So I will explain in upcoming classes. Okay. So yeah, Komal, I see that you are saying that today is your first class. So no issues. So you might have received all the videos. I request you to please go through the videos one by one. And if you have any questions, you can ask me in upcoming classes. So you watch the videos in the sequence. Okay. First March, then 2nd March, then 3rd March, 4th March. Likewise, like day by day, you watch the videos and let me know if you have any questions. Okay. So that's all for today, guys. And we'll see you tomorrow. And this Saturday also, like as I mentioned in the demo classes, this Saturday also we have the class. Saturday I will take some more time, like maybe we can change the time if you want. Instead of 6 a.m., we can start at 7 a.m. or 8 a.m. But I will be taking a class for 1 hour, 30 minutes. Okay. So I request you guys to please decide the time and put your message in the WhatsApp group. Okay. Yeah. Thank you all. Thanks for joining. Have a nice day.
Karthik, do we have DSA today?
Yes, we have.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Thank you.